I
I think we're live.
That was weird.
Yeah, we're rolling out of the intro today. It's a little different today.
It is a little different today.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Man, let me just start. I'm thankful that I can be sitting in your basement hanging out with your wonderful family in any capacity on Thanksgiving Day.
Man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
The Lowrys are good people. Also, if you leave the Lowry house hungry, it's your fault.
Yeah, everybody thinks their mama can cook, but everybody also thinks my mama can cook.
And look,
And they're right.
and to be clear, to be like absolutely crystal clear, like Chris's mom doesn't even need to know your name, right? When when we were in high school and it was time to like perhaps go to somebody's house to find a bite to eat, the group's consensus was always, yeah, Chris's house isn't that far away.
and that and that was a fair consensus. So it says there's three of you watching. Who's hey?
This is Matt Parks.
Matt Parks with First Blood. Good morning, sunshine.
Happy Thanksgiving.
My man.
What's what? So I'm kind of looking at the thing here. What's supposed to
So
be
this
rolling
thing
down the
right
side?
here, it's retrieving a link. And the plan in theory is I'm going to drop this link in the chat over here and let people call in and talk to us. But I'm still waiting on the retrieval mechanism to work. So I'm actually going to refresh that and see if it'll get me a link.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Jeffrey, and happy Thanksgiving, Danny. And yeah, Danny, I might just wear this hoodie for the duration because 11-0, baby. What? That's a thing that I'm thankful for. Like, Chris, I know you don't pay attention to the sports ball.
I am aware of I am aware of that particular bit of sports ball trivia at the moment.
Yeah, 11-0. One of the only teams left in all of college football to have a perfect record, and it's yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Does it make you extra nervous every time they play?
Um, Not really. Like it's kind of like poker. At some point in time, you have to have big bets in order to move on.
Right.
Like it's just it is what it is. So a little nervous, yeah, but I could tell you as somebody who's been completely outside the national playoff competition and as somebody who's been just barely inside the national playoff contention, I'd rather be in the position of no, stay the course and you're going to the national playoffs. I'd rather be there.
Okay.
Like it's it just is what it is. And Danny, last year we were actually supposed to be able to watch a Bulldogs game together. And Vanderbilt decided to be big giant sissies. I think they just didn't want to get their ass whooped by the dogs. But the next time you come to Georgia, I really hope you do it this time of year and we can like eat some cheese dip and watch a Bulldogs game together. That would be great. That's something I would be thankful for. That hasn't even happened yet, and I'm thankful.
Well, this is failing on me. I'm supposed to be able to invite you guys to join the stream, and it's not generating the link for me.
Well, I've got an idea. While you try and get that figured out, well, we're gonna do a brief recap of Thanksgiving itself. You can mess with that.
Yeah, go ahead and get in there.
Okay. So, and look, this is not our original idea. This is something that Rush Limbaugh did on his show for decades, but it is a tradition that needs to be carried forward. And so we're going to carry that tradition forward about the first Thanksgiving here today on our show. The folks at the esteemed 1619 Project would have you believe, yeah, would have you believe that everything about the country is built on racism and slavery and class oppression and just all the terrible things that the evil white capitalist patriarchy does. And there were a few groups of pilgrims that came over in the early 1600s and one of the things that the history books are honest about is they struggled a wee bit. Turns out when you sit on a boat for like 2 months with an extremely small number of supplies,
You get
and
hungry.
yeah, and then you come over and you land in a place that people know basically nothing about, and then try and build a new life out of quite literally almost nothing. That's kind of challenging. And so there's one of these groups of pilgrims that came over that was led by a man named William Bradford. And would it shock you to know that the pilgrims were deeply religious people?
Oh.
that, yeah, they so believed that they had the right to worship as they saw fit. They were willing to throw away their entire lives and risk everything to go live in a place that is, at the time, was the definition of the hostile frontier. And so this particular group of pilgrims, they tried they tried to be as Christian as possible in the governance of their society. And so what they decided that they would do is to say, hey, nobody's going to go without in our society. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So they get here.
How'd that work out for them?
Well, nah. Um, so they get here and they put everything in a common storehouse in the center of their colony. And it was, hey, contribute as much as you can, take as much as you need. And that first winter, about half of them died, including William Bradford's wife. And so William Bradford said, yeah, no, screw that. We're not going to do things that way anymore. And so the next spring, Bradford said, all right, I'm just giving everybody a plot of land. You do whatever you want to do with that plot of land, period. You just do it. You got extra and you want to barter it amongst yourselves. You want to barter it with the Indians, whatever. But you take your plot of land and you do whatever. And it was almost like a magic trick. As you went from that first year to the second year, they went from not having enough food to having so much food. It's part of why they were able to establish relationships with the Indians to trade with them. And yeah, some of what you learned in the history books where the Indians helped the pilgrims is all absolutely true. But the story that you were told that basically these white people were absolutely incompetent, the only thing they were good at was passing out smallpox blankets before germ theory was a thing. And if it weren't for the benevolence of the Native Americans, they all would have died. That's not exactly the truth. Yeah, the pilgrims were starving. That's true. But that's because they kind of tried to build a socialist society out of nothing. And it's funny, you can only build socialist societies when there's already an existing wealthy society in place in which to socialize.
And you can only have a socialist society for as long as you have that wealthy Western society available to cannibalize.
That's
Eventually,
right.
you run out of bones to pick.
Exactly. So yeah, actually, those evil white patriarchal Christians, one of the very first governments they ever tried to set up in this country was a collective state. Like they did Marx before Marx was cool, and proved that Marx's ideas were terrible before, well, everybody else proved that Marx's ideas were terrible. So yeah, there's the first Thanksgiving in this country. So I'm thankful that William Bradford had enough sense to not let his ego and hubris and the grief of the death of his wife stop him from recognizing the terrible mistake that they had made and altered course. Turned out that voluntarism and capitalism is like the secret sauce, baby.
Indeed. Hey! Okay, cool. So, Cameron, you appear to have completed your rant at exactly the correct time, as it appears that the link is now available.
Yeah, I see chat is complaining that somehow we're under the
Yeah,
wrong
apparently
thumbnail.
which means that the title of this episode on all the major platforms is wrong.
Oh dear.
So, but you know what? Screw it. I don't need this episode to be one that goes viral. We've got the friends and family in the chat there. Hopefully a few more of our beloved friends and family find the chat. Uh Patrick says we should run for an extra 10 minutes to make up for this error. I imagine we can manage that. So all right, guys, I'm gonna do something crazy.
And we're going to do this without headphones too?
Yep.
Oh,
We're
dear.
gonna see how it works out. This might go badly,
Might be a terrible idea.
but we're gonna try it. Y'all click that link that I just dropped in the chat right there. Don't everybody hit it at one time, but hop in. Tell us what you're thankful for. And I'm going to talk for a minute about what I'm thankful for, about some of the things that I'm thankful for this morning while we're waiting for somebody to join us. I was thinking about it this morning. Peterson mentions from time to time his favorite episode of The Simpsons, where Homer pours a quart of vodka into a quart of mayonnaise and shakes it up and drinks it. And somebody tells him that's an awful idea, and he says, "Yeah, well, that's a problem for future Homer." Boy, I'm glad I'm not that guy.
Oh.
And Peterson tells that story to make the point about how important it is to treat yourself like you are someone who's worth taking care of. And so I was thinking about that this morning over my morning coffee before my early morning nap. And yep, that's the kind of life I live now. And I thought to myself, there's the future Lowry, who I need to take care of. I need to make good decisions on his behalf, to make sure that in the future I am in a better place than I am now. And at the same time, there's the yester Lowry that made the decisions that got me where I am today. He could have done some things better. He could have. But with 4 beautiful babies, a wonderful wife,
parents within walking distance,
mom and dad right next door, I'm
decently sized house,
I'm
big enough for us to have this basement.
Yep.
In order to just run our gobs in.
A series of professional decisions with which I am pretty happy at this point. Buddy, you could have done a few things better. But some of the things you could have done better was get blown up a little less. So, that's a little little give and take there. I'm pretty happy with those choices, and so thank you, Yester Lowry.
Fair enough. And Scrimshaw Rose has showed up, so happy Thanksgiving to you. Glad to see you.
And I'm just gonna periodically drop that link in the chat again.
And Steve says self-said, and I'm pretty sure it was me. He had my voice and was wearing my underwear. and I know we said happy Thanksgiving to Danny. Did we say happy Thanksgiving to Alex?
I think we did. Hey, Alex, did we say happy Thanksgiving to you?
We did say happy birthday to Alex yesterday.
Happy birthgiving, Alex.
Wait a minute.
Thanks day to you too.
Wait a minute. Oh, that's something you should say to your wife on your kid's birthday. I'm sure she would love that.
I will also say thank you on this intended to be participatory show to anybody who participates. So,
wait, so did I say the whole thing about communism being the first government the white man ever established in this country, and because for whatever reason the links didn't work, nobody caught it? Did that happen?
So recap that for us. Communism was the first government established in this country.
Okay. So William Bradford, man. Okay, fine. The people at the 1619 Project are shitheads and liars. They lie to you, okay? They want to tell you that the entire country was built on racism and power dynamics and slavery and class struggle and all that other Marxist, bullshit. Groups of pilgrims came over, as we all know, And the story that we're told is that they were basically incompetent, and if it weren't for the amazing Indians, they all would have died. And look, there is some truth to the fact that the Indians helped the Pilgrims, showed them how to hunt turkeys, better methods for planting corn, all that kind of thing. That's all true. Absolutely, 100%. Fun fact, Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird.
Yeah.
Because apparently they were just everywhere when we showed up. Just turkey and buffalo everywhere, right? Anyhow,
How'd that work out?
not well for the buffalo. Oh, okay. So Patrick says you did, and the Pilgrim showed us that Marxism was bad before Marx came up with his bad
Yep.
ideas.
Hey,
Well,
Patrick, click the link.
well, maybe. You never know, dude. He could be laying in bed in his underwear,
I
and that
don't
is
care.
not what I care.
I'll make fun of him.
I care. Look, I participate in this
Patrick,
show
I love
too.
you so much that I'm willing to make fun of you in your underwear on YouTube.
Yeah, no, pale skin with lots of tattoos is just not.
It's funny.
See, I didn't need to see him in his underwear to make fun of him in his underwear. Also, I participate in this show, and I say no to the underwear. If we can't have hot chicks holding guns in underwear on this show, then
We should arrange that.
oh yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Hey, you know what else I'm thankful for?
What's that?
Things like whiskey and scotch and bourbon. Love those things. Those are things. They are things.
I'm thankful for this correctly sized coffee cup as well. It's backwards.
Oh,
You failed.
I didn't fail. I didn't fail at all. People are saying that they need to
reset permissions. Oh.
Scrimshaw apparently is familiar with the story of the first Thanksgiving, and they got him here near winter, and half of them died through the first winter. That is correct, including William Bradford's wife. And he got to the end of their little experiment, and they were trying. But Bradford noticed this funny thing that the young, strong men, the ones most able to do the work, didn't do anything other than the bare minimum because, well,
they didn't have to.
Incentives are important. And if you go and you read some of Bradford's writings, he talks a lot about how what they tried actually really smacked of hubris. They tried to take the place of God. They really thought that they were in the moment they thought they were building a godly society, but they kind of ignored the human nature that God had programmed in all of us. And one of those things is that incentives matter because the difference from year one to year two was shocking. When everybody just had a plot of land and could do whatever they wanted with it, they went from not having enough to having extra. And um and look, that's even a debatable term when you're literally having to chop down trees as fast as you can to build new log cabins so people don't freeze to death. I don't know that you could ever really have extra in those circumstances.
There's no such thing as extra money. There's only more.
Oh, everybody's saying that they have those problems.
So my show's going poorly because you people can't phone.
Or maybe the next time we do something this radically different, we tell people the day before, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna X, Y, and Z tomorrow. That way we don't have folks going,
I told them I was going to do something different. I should have been ready.
Why are you talking about Kyle Rittenhouse again? Well, because we're never going to stop talking about Kyle Rittenhouse. It's the 2020 champion.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, now that the Rittenhouse story's over, what are we going to talk about? You know what? We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that today.
We're not getting into that mess today.
Nope. And tomorrow's Firearms Friday, and I might just say we do a DGU only episode and we push the whole thing that happened in Brunswick off until Monday.
I didn't know there was a middle finger emoji, Steve.
I'm gonna have to
well played.
I'm gonna have to save that one. Well, look, even if you can't come in on video, you could tell us in the chat what's something that you're thankful for. Oh, every other broadcaster, you know, does this. Yeah, there's a reason why broadcasters that have any amount of professionalism ask you, the audience, that makes them able to do their job, what they're thankful for. Because,
well, and you know, interacting with you guys, we want to make a show that you want to watch.
exactly.
Um,
We want to make a show that we want to make, but we still want to make a show that you want to watch.
there's what you want, there's what we want, and there's something in between the two.
That is correct. It's like a dance.
And in fairness, on the spectrum of what we want is a lot of YouTube banning. So there's a lot of needing to meet in the middle that has to happen to stay on the air generally.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Scrimshaw, fantastic. I'm thankful for coffee. My husband is thankful I drank my coffee.
My wife has a coffee cup that has, it's a white cup with black text and lines on it. And it's 3 lines. And the first one says, shh. And the second line says, not yet. And the last one says, now you may speak.
Steve says, remember the early days before the concept was political commentary?
No.
Well, it somehow ended up being
sort of.
It somehow ended up being a lot of. Is somebody trying to come in? Is that what that is?
Oh, hello. We have an entrant in the green room. Good morning. Michael, can you hear us?
He says, hey, in the chat.
Oh, am I in here?
Hey.
All right.
I wonder how much bleed over.
I don't have any video from you though, but there you is.
And it's a Danny. Oh, my God.
Oh, and I've got a Danny.
Oh, the show just got a lot prettier. I love it.
All right, I got to mute the YouTube stream so I can not be doubling up on the audio.
I'm not hearing you, Danny.
Do you have audio on me?
Oh, there you are. I'm going to turn you up.
Yeah, I got to mute things.
All right.
All right, there we go. Hey, friends. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm going to back. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving.
To you, Danny. We're so glad you showed up with your adorable headphones that are trademark.
Hey, Kim, notice I actually went and put on my Lucky Gym Dogs shirt that I have worn for every Georgia game. Well, every Georgia football game since 2001. It is paper thin. Can you see my shirt? A gym dog, actually a national vaulting champ Gym Dog gave this shirt to me in 2001. It says Gym Dogs meet tonight. And yeah, it's my lucky shirt. I actually, anybody that has a teenage boy will understand when I say I smell like a teenage boy, because I only wear this shirt for games. I put it on at kickoff. I take it off at the end of the game, and I wash it rarely. So yeah, I smell like a teenage boy right now because I wanted you to be impressed with my gear.
Yeah. I was going to ask. I was like, how often do you wash it?
Very rarely. I wash it on gentle and I hang it to dry. And yeah, like you can see the seams are like starting to disintegrate. It's rough, but hey, I mean, you do what you got to do. I suffer for my sport. What's happening?
There's not been a lot of suffering for our sport this year. That's for sure.
Well, not this year.
So apart from the 11-0 record, Danny, what are you thankful for this year?
You know, dude, I hesitate to say this, but I feel like people watching this know me well enough that I can say I am so spoiled that I can't even begin to. I mean, life is amazing. I am thankful for so many things. I'm especially thankful that the 9-degree weather is outside of my house, not inside my house right now. I'm thankful that
we still live in America where the weather is tolerable, unlike southern Canada.
Yeah, right. And just barely southern, by the way, 150 miles to the north, and there are friendly neighbors. Yeah. I mean, I'm
real quick, Sergeant Major just joined us. Good morning, old man.
Morning, sir. I'm thankful
Happy
that we have
Thanksgiving.
the right to say the things that we say on a regular occasion. We know that there are not many places we could get away with the things that we do or say, I guess. Um,
Yeah, and
and
when Danny says that, remember, Great Britain is on the list of the places we can't say the things we say without
dude,
going to jail or being
151
fined.
miles north of me is on that
Yep.
list. Yeah.
You can
And
actually get arrested for telling jokes.
Yeah,
Like jokes we
memes
don't even
about
know.
gender in the UK can get you put away.
Yep.
yeah, and as much as we joke about not making Lowry's head any bigger, I am thankful for big burly men who are willing to stand on the line and put in harm's way, men and women, but men put themselves in harm's way to fight for my right to to say and do the frivolous things that I do. And y'all, I am not joking about that at all. And you know Chris and all of your fellow war fighters, thank you for that. I am very thankful for that.
Many of us will say this jokingly, you are welcome for my service.
You're not allowed to service me that way, sir.
But it was my pleasure, honestly. And thank you for saying so. So and how about you, Michael? What are you thankful for this Turkey Day?
Well, not having to go into work for starters. I'm definitely thankful for that one. I get a weekend in the middle of the week, so that's pretty nice.
Yeah, handy that.
And I'm thankful that I'll be able to eat with my family, and they won't be all geeked out about Mexican beer stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well played. Well played.
Is it truly
All right.
Mexican?
No, I'm just referring to something else that you really can't talk about much
Right.
about
No,
on
but
YouTube.
as am I. Is that beer Mexican?
It depends on who you ask, I guess.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think technically even asking would make you some kind of bigot.
Right. Yeah. True. True that.
I think you've lost me now.
It's the cerveza virus.
Oh,
But I was asking, is that cerveza really made in Mexico? Because most of them are not. They're bottled in
Oh,
like
no. I think it's made in New York or Chicago.
yeah,
it's made in
exactly,
China.
San Diego somewhere.
Yeah, and now Budweiser is not even American beer anymore.
No.
Like it's
Is it really
Who knows?
not?
yeah, some North European company bought it out like 5 or 6 years ago, and then like immediately rebranded it as the Super American beer. That's why there's like there's why they're the American flags on the sides of the cans. A different country bought it out and then was like, "Oh, I know how to make the American beer more American. You just make it more American."
That reminds me of a story I just came across recently on a meme channel where they're talking about in Japan sale the store was having, and it was an effing sale is how they had their signs posted.
Oh, I
Because
saw that. Yes.
Yeah, because they thought it was like some American slang for awesome. So that's what it said
Steve
on their
says we need to be
signs.
careful if we add any more people because the video is starting to clip. Gotcha.
Well, you know what, you guys, I'll jump out and let somebody else come in. I just wanted to come in and say I love you and happy Thanksgiving and go dogs. And yeah,
We
I
love
will.
you too, Danny. And the next time you're in town, I'll be sure not to be in surgery.
That'll be in a few weeks, so I will send you guys dates so we can lock something down.
Yes, please. I would love to hug your neck. It would make my day.
Yes, thank you. Love you guys. Bye.
Be good, sweetheart. Happy Turkey Day.
Thanks. Happy
Take it
Turkey Day.
easy.
Bye.
Yeah, if you got other people trying to come in too, and you're having technical issues, I can bounce out too.
Yeah, we'll catch you. We'll catch you on the next one, brother. And I'm gonna go ahead and redrop the link for anybody else who wants to pop in.
That actually went better than I thought that
it did. It did. I was worried that we were gonna have bad audio bleed because we don't have headphones on right now. We're just letting it play through the speakers on the main monitor, and this microphone is adequately directional and working out pretty good. So
adequately directional.
Yeah, I mean It's not a shotgun mic. It is a.
I'm just curious as to what you did to why we have so much wider of a frame. Like, you normally can't see the hot mess that is my desk as we do this, and yet,
well, in the OBS when we're on a regular broadcast, this is the image that they're seeing, but I've cropped it specifically to get rid of your messy desk and the top corner of my slightly less messy desk. So, okay, Steve says other than Michael being a touch loud, everything else was good to go. So, and I even trimmed his audio down a little bit, but if that all worked out pretty good, then I'm glad to know it, and we can do call-in shows like this again in the future. We are now over our usual 8 o'clock.
we can give.
I'm happy to hang out for a few more minutes if anybody else wants to try and call in.
See if somebody else shows up.
So I saw Alex in there earlier. Didn't I? Yep, there he was.
Yeah, there was an Alex, but he
and
apparently he's got some roast beef to make. I have to respect this. He's going to do roast beef for Thanksgiving because screw you, that's why. He wanted roast beef, and I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. That's in fact, it made me realize.
It's a healthy political statement. Alex said, "Screw you! I'm not giving up my turkey for soy. I'll go anti-soy."
Look, if you want to go anti-soy, the turducken is also a legitimate option. I've still never had one of those, but like it's gonna happen one day. Like I watched a recipe one time that had the turducken, and then the very center cavity was stuffed with a pound of breakfast sausage and breadcrumbs. And I was like, I could see how that would be amazing.
I don't understand how you cook that without the turkey getting just shoe leather dry.
Okay, here's the secret about turkey, right? It's all about the gravy. And this is no knock on anybody, all right? But let's be real honest. Turkey's a funny thing. It is not, how do you say? It's not the most delicate of the poultries, okay? It doesn't always, turkey getting slightly dry is part of why there's gravy at Thanksgiving. The breast meat in particular is extremely challenging. And so you reach a certain point. Alton Brown did
You're gonna learn something today.
Alton Brown actually did a whole episode about this, about why stuffing in your turkey is dangerous, because either you cook the turkey properly and your stuffing has the potential to be contaminated with salmonella, or you cook things long enough for the salmonella to reach a safe point and you dry out your turkey. And there's all sorts of methods that are out there for making your turkey more juicy and more delicious. A guy that I like to follow, I watch a lot of food videos on YouTube. It's one of my things. I watch nerd videos and cooking channels when I'm not doing like political commentary. Adam Ragusia actually says on his channel, look, just get the turkey to an acceptable level and make sure your gravy is on point, and your guests will thank you. If you have gravy that knocks the teeth out of your skull, it almost doesn't matter what you do with the turkey. And now,
Ma has a different theory.
What's that?
Nail the turkey, and then have the awesome gravy as well.
I appreciate that theory. Look, and since we're sharing it, here's my theory, right? Deep fry it in peanut oil.
I am a fan of the deep fried
peanut
turkey.
oil.
We're not frying a turkey today, I don't think.
There's also spatchcock and smoke it.
And that one's
good.
Will break your heart.
That one's good.
That'll make you cry.
That one's good. But there's all sorts of theories where like you actually cook the turkey breast side down so the fat will drip down into the breast and keep it moist and keep it from going dry and chalky. Yeah. So yeah.
Steve says they do theirs in the green egg, not spatchcock. So that's kind of a slow roasted, not exact. Oh,
What kind of smoke do you use on that,
Yeah.
Steve? Oh, St. Michael says he watches RV and solar vids. Solar, like the sun? And I ask because it's possible you mean something else.
I think he means videos about solar power related to the RV.
Mm. You know, only problem with solar power is it's shit on cloudy days. Like, we don't toy with other chips. Steve, look, Steve. Hickory is good. Hickory, you can never miss with hickory, okay? But I have not met the piece of poultry yet that doesn't benefit from some applewood smoke. Like it hadn't happened yet. Boneless, skinless chicken, whatever, thighs, breasts, whole chickens. Hell, even I used to do the beer can chicken thing, where like you take the chicken and put it on the beer can, right? It's amazing. And even that, no, throw in some applewood chips, baby. Mesquite's also good, but it's a thing.
Well, Sergeant Major says he's got some pastries that need cleaned up.
Matt Park says he's thankful for this RecTech 700.
My man.
You see, that's fantastic. You want to talk about memetics? I don't know if he did this on purpose or not, but this Saturday, the motto for Georgia fans is RecTech. So that could just be some amazing memetics.
Okay, I don't know why the chat's showing up twice every time somebody comments. That's yes, I do. No problem. I'm not going to fix that this time. We'll just do it right next time.
That's right.
I see what happened. I see why the chat is doubling up. Okay.
Yeah, we're already over. So. Oh, it's not
showing twice on the feed. It's showing twice on the overlay on the video.
Ah.
See, that's what the camera sees. This is what the audience sees.
Sure. Whatever you say, buddy. So happy Thanksgiving, and I mean this thing that I'm about to say in absolute utter sincerity. Thank God that the first people that made the choice to come over here for religious freedom had enough humility in their faith in God to recognize that they themselves could not replace God. Because that is what those commie bastards want to do. They want to replace God. It's a thing. Look it up. They had enough sense to realize, you know what? Actually, nope. Little capitalism's a good idea. It goes a long way. And, if you like people not starving to death, we talked yesterday about how, when you were a farmer, you had 10 kids so that like about half of them would make it past 5 years old. Baby, thank capitalism for that, okay? Because up until about 1800, 1850 or so, people just routinely starved to death. They still do in countries that have a problem with capitalism. Let's be clear.
Yes.
Countries that are even nominally capitalist don't have a lot of starvation problems anymore. It's just true story.
The only countries that have any problem with hunger in a significant way, it's a direct result of their local authority intervention. Without exception, there is no place on this planet where people are hungry for any reason other than a government is preventing them from eating. That just is. We've talked about that on the show before. That might be one that's worth dedicating a full episode to, or a special. But
you mean like the governor in Puerto Rico that like had all the water just sitting there and didn't want
food supplies and
didn't want to distribute it to her people because she hated Donald Trump, and we're not going to get
took aid money to buy T-shirts that said, yeah.
And look, I know we don't want to go too deep into the politics of it, but because it so directly ties into part of the theme of the episode, Puerto Rico's not exactly a super right-wing place.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that a left-wing governor would do some left-wing bullshit. I mean, how?
And it hurt people.
I know. It's like there's these points that Chris and I make over and over and over again. And we're like Nostradamus and how the left continues to provide examples of how correct we are. So there's that. I mean, and seriously, how messed up do you have to be where, like, you know, your island has been wrecked by a hurricane? The thing that happens to islands sometimes, for
Yep.
better or for worse. And, you know, you have like potable water just sitting there that a whole bunch of evil white patriarchal Christians have mailed you for free. And you're like, nah, it's just going to sit there because Orange Man bad.
Indeed. Steve says we are way overdue for a crusty truck, and you are 100% correct, Steve. Let's address that in the secret chat.
The secret chat.
And maybe schedule one of those for the not too distant future.
I like that plan.
I like this. Okay.
So,
But we are nearly a quarter of an hour over. It
So, happy
is time
Thanksgiving.
for more coffee. And apparently the Sergeant Major has pastries that need disposed of. And
by
I have a
disposed
fat
of,
ass into which pastries can be disposed.
and I am attempting to acquire a fat ass in which pastries can also be disposed.
Indeed. So, be thankful. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow for Firearms Friday. And I can't hit the button. I have to go find it. There it is. Deuces.